Hey y'all, it's Nikki. There is so much to do downtown these days, but honestly, parking can be a headache. Downtown Austin Alliance has launched a new program that can ease the hassle of trying to find the perfect spot. If you shop at 35 select businesses downtown, you can get free 2-hour validated parking in select garages. This program is running from February 23rd through April 30th while supplies last. And vouchers are valid all day Sunday through Thursday and until 4 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. So visit downtownaustin.com to learn more.
Hey y'all, it's Eva Ruth. Doer is a company that makes denim and lifestyle apparel, and I've been obsessed with their jeans lately. Their clothing is made for us to move freely without having to sacrifice comfort or style, which I just think is perfect for Austinites. My Doer jeans are comfortable enough to wear on errands or walking the dogs, and they look and feel great. So check out shopdoer.com/CCAustin for 15% off of your first order. That's shopduer.com/CCAustin.
Today on CityCast Austin, across the country, enrollment in higher education institutions has been declining, but not at Huston-Tillotson University, a 150-year-old school that sees itself as the soul of Austin. So what's the recipe for HT's magic sauce? And how will a historic $150 million gift transform the East Austin campus? I'm joined today by the president of Huston-Tillotson to explain. It's Monday, February 23rd. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here with Dr. Melva K. Wallace, president of Huston-Tillotson University. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here.
So, okay, now I was born and raised in East Austin. And so the neighborhood around HT was once a thriving Black neighborhood. Like, I remember growing up, the juggernaut that HT was in our community. And since, the area has been heavily gentrified. So my first question off top, has HT ever considered moving out of East Austin? And would that even make sense?
Has HT ever considered move? I can't say. I've only been here since 2022. I would say that in all due diligence, you should always consider everything, especially, when you think about expansion.
Of course.
And being able to do more, being in an urban setting, there's always conversations around how do you support athletics, being in downtown Austin. So, our baseball team, for instance, they play at Downs Field. They don't get to play at home like a traditional, college campus would.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so we take care of Downs Field and we manage Downs Field. And our students can't just walk over to the field and see their friends play. Or our track team, I hadn't seen the track team run off campus to go, to the track meet. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, our soccer team can't play here because there is no regulation soccer field. There is no space for that.
Right.
The list goes on and on. But the expense that of busing, we have to bus students to their own home game. So the only home games we have is for basketball. And all of our home games are played in Round Rock, in Onion Creek, and other places.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So we don't, our kids don't always get to feel at home.
Yeah.
And so although we love East Austin, yes, we're staying here, but to answer your question, has HT ever considered? I'd imagine, yeah.
Probably.
You just have to. I'm sure the students have said, why don't we just pack up, I'm tired of.
Why can't we move?
Huckleberry Finn every time I got to put my little knapsack on my back.
Oh my God, I love that.
Go across town just to,
to be at home, in quotation.
To be at home.
Wow.
But to not answer your question, we're staying in East. You didn't ask me that. I mean, we're here. We're where we are. I don't want to say we're stuck, but yeah,
That's
we're
where we
here.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where we are.
I'm going to go back a little bit. So Tillotson College, which later merged with Sam Houston College to become Houston-Tillotson University, is the oldest higher education institution in Austin. It was founded in 1875. And so when we're talking about legacy and we're talking about what you tell students about the history of HT when they come in, what was the city like at that time?
So Texas became Texas in 1845. So math, 1845 to 1875, what is that, 30 years?
Yeah, 30 years.
That's not anything. Like I have clothing from 30 years ago, imagine in 1875, people who looked like us, it was a scary time.
Yeah.
Racial discrimination, even starting an institution like this was dangerous.
Right.
Very dangerous. So 1875, you have people who were getting killed and murdered for learning.
Yeah.
For being in community, for being in space, for even for being a part of this. You had to decide if you wanted to keep your life.
Yeah.
So I would say kudos to people who had the boldness, the tenacity, the courage to be a part of this movement that did not start in 1875. It had to start before that. You don't just wake up 1875, cut a ribbon.
And have a college, yeah.
So I can't imagine 30 years after Texas become Texas, somebody says, I think it's a great idea to educate Black folk. You know what I'm saying?
Hear me out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, let's just stand by. And for someone's wife to say, yes, honey, I think you should be a part of this and have little kids. And yes, wife, you should teach in this because it's a great idea. No, you cannot. No, you should not. Absolutely don't.
Yeah.
We have a family. We have our own world. We're not trying to risk our life for this place. I don't even know what you're talking about. It's a college who's doing that. That's a new thing.
Yeah. But here we are. They did it and here we are, which is incredible. So a lot of folks, non-Black folks specifically, but a lot of folks in general, feel like not everyone can go to a historically Black university. And so I am curious about your response to that, but I'm also curious about the other side of that conversation is always if it's not for everybody, people start to question whether having an HBCU in town benefits all Austinites. And so I'm curious to your approach of that question about the accessibility of HBCUs to everyone and what it means for Austin.
I've been in the HBCU world my entire life. I got my undergrad at Grambling, my master's at Grambling, my doctorate at Jackson State, worked at Southern University. Yeah, I just see diverse communities. I will say the most diverse HBCU that I've ever worked at is here at Houston-Tillotson University. And diverse in so many different ways.
Right.
It is a unique juxtaposition between a city that is that has single digit Black population and a Houston-Tillotson University that just looks really different. Hispanic students, Black students, white students, international students.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's the older people who are still mentally in a place that for me, that doesn't matter because they're not my market anyway. So I'm not trying to address that for them.
Right.
The people that matter are those students who are looking for belonging in a place where there's an open heart, open mind, and an open door since 1875. And so we've lived that from the beginning. And I am pleased and proud of the students who, in this generation of student who says, I'm trying to be where everybody knows my name. Like, I'm Cheers.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I am thinking about.
I want to go where I'm welcomed, wherever that is.
That's it. Yeah. And wherever that is, and they have my major, and I feel this sense of purpose, and I am in community, and I feel safe, and I'm in this boutique institution that is just everybody knows who I am as a person, and not, I won't go controversial because this is a good show, but I don't have to be in a corner defined by an association.
Right.
I don't have to join. We don't have a Black Studies, we don't, we don't have a Black Student Union. We don't have any of those groups.
Right. Because there's not a necessity for it.
We didn't have to snatch anything away from somebody because it was.
Because someone told you to. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, oh, we don't even have one. We don't have that. So.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people forget how segregated Austin used to be. Like, of course, during Jim Crow, Austin was segregated. From your lens, what has HT's influence on Austin been? What has that influence look like?
I think we've been the soul of the city. I think we've been the soul. And we're going to be leaning into that. I mean, we're going to be even more so leaning into the soul and bringing that even deeper into the community. And it's biased because that's just who the president is. And I can't undo a life of, the experiences that I bring as the president of this and CEO of this institution. And so I see value in culture. I see value in having a mosaic of people. And so that's exciting for me. And I think that has been our stamp. I looked at pictures of different times in our life, in our history, where people, when they felt when the world was doing something, when the world was doing something.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to put a blank, fill in the blank, whatever it was.
Right.
People said, we need to go to Houston-Tillotson University to get back grounded. And gobs of people, from marches to convenings to fill in the blank, people came. And I don't know if they were invited. I don't know. I don't know if somebody said, hey, we're going to be over here. Or people just showed up because they knew where to go when you need your soul filled, right? Where home is. What you need to, I see us filling that space of the living room of Austin.
Okay, I like that. The living room, because that's the place where you convene. That's where everything happens.
Yeah,
that's where the conversations. That's the pit. That's where things happen.
That's where you take your shoes off and you say, let's just have this real conversation.
Yeah.
And I know that things are going crazy, but I need to come here and get grounded. Yeah. Centering. The soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, it's time to make your voice heard. Austin continues to face significant infrastructure challenges like aging facilities, growing service demands, and affordability pressures. To organize and prioritize, representatives across city departments scored hundreds of individual project requests using criteria like timeliness and readiness, critical need, and efficiency. And then through a structured and collaborative review process, city staff refined this need assessment into their 2026 bond initial draft recommendation list. Y'all, this list totals $700 million. And then on January 21st, that list was submitted to mayor and council. So what does this mean for you? Community members are invited to a series of open house meetings to learn about proposed bond projects and share feedback that will help ensure these investments reflect Austin's most pressing infrastructure needs and community priorities. So RSVP and learn more at austintexas.gov/bond2026. I hear there's some of you that are still on the fence about Window Nation and might need a little more convincing on why now is a great time to replace your windows. So here are a few more stats for you. Window Nation has installed over 3 million windows across the country. They give a 50-point inspection of every window before it leaves the factory, and then a 20-point inspection of every window when it's installed. They're a proud partner of Austin FC, so when you check them out, ask how you could score an Austin FC heartbeat kit, game day tickets, or VIP experience. Plus, the installation crew leaders on average have over a decade of experience, so you can trust Window Nation to install your windows right the first time. This sweet spot of Austin weather is the perfect time to prepare your home for that summer heat that's coming. And you're in luck because that Window Nation Buy 4 Get 4 Windows free sale and the extra 10% off for Valentine's Day is still going on. So schedule a fast free estimate now at windownation.com. Things are really crazy right now. Because of Trump, state government officials get more involved in curriculum with anti-DEI or woke stuff or control the way that they protest. And so I'm curious, I had loved this idea of students coming to a place that feels like home, to just kind of touch grass, to be able to be who they are for a moment, to be able to just sit in the living room. Do you feel like with everything that's going on, do you feel like your students need that now just as much as they might have needed it back in the day? How is HT faring in Trump America? How is it happening? Are kids still getting this opportunity to show up to the living room and be healed, or is it getting more difficult?
My goal as a president and as a leader is to keep people focused on the goal and to keep people focused on our mission. And what happens, and this is just the world, and I give this advice to my kids, I give this advice to other leaders, and my kids being the students here, and they are leaders. I don't say they're aspiring leaders. You're leading today. Do not be distracted by anything happening in the world that will distract you from reaching your goals. Okay? Because as much as you may feel as if this time in your life this is the worst I've seen it, and I've never seen anything, this is, oh my gosh, this is bad, bad, bad. I dare you to say it to a face of whomever was galvanized and gathered in 1873 or 74.
Right.
I dare you. They would be like, if you don't go sit your narrow hips down somewhere and get back, Jack, like we risked, and people died, like literally died. So how dare you say, that, oh, this is woe is me in this moment in time. Okay. Or in any moment in time. But it is not to minimize the experience of today. Right. So I believe what is exciting about what we get to do at a historically Black college, I'm grateful that there is a place and a space where people feel safe, where people feel seen, and that they can almost live in a bubble for 4 years. Sometimes 6. Don't let, let's not get it twisted. Let's have a real, sometimes 6, sometimes 7. So how great is it to be in a world where you don't have to fight?
Right.
You can go to class. You can not worry as if like, wow, am I going to get this internship because this is not for me? And am I going to, did I not get this opportunity because this is being taken away, or I can't celebrate this because of that? And oh my gosh. So it's exciting for HBCU students right now.
Right.
Because in a sense, they're almost just like not, a lot of this is not affecting them in ways that it's affecting maybe students at other institutions. And so they live in they're in a bubble, if you will, in a sense, because you don't have to take Black off the Black History Month program.
Right.
Like we're not, you don't have to, it's like, have your program. I mean, it's the Black History, yeah, go on. So they're in a bubble.
Do you think that bubble affects whether or not they'll be prepared to face this craziness when they get out of that 4 years?
Absolutely, because we're still doing the job that we've been doing since 1875.
Okay.
We're the students at Jackson State University that got killed at Jackson State University not prepared.
Right.
We're the movement started here. They just don't have to fight them little baby battles.
Yeah, okay.
My kids are ready they're not trying to deal with, okay, I got to try to march at the president's office because I want to have a Hispanic heritage picnic or something. What.
They can focus on education.
They're focusing on the big stuff. How do you change systemic problems is what I want you to focus on.
Right.
You're not in a war with me, baby. You're not in a war with your administration. You're not in a war with your faculty member. You're not in a war with a student in your class because they don't see eye to eye with you on, whatever, you got your afro out. I mean, whatever, or wanting to, you wearing Bantu knots one day and you got a blonde wig the next. I mean, there's just not, it's not.
Right.
You don't have to fight those little baby battles. We're training you for the war. You're being trained to go into spaces and places to be ready to change legislation, to be ready to change office policy, to be ready to employ people that you believe need to have opportunities. I'm preparing you for the BIG.
Right.
You don't have to be at war with me because I'm saying you can't have your Caribbean food tasted whatever in your dorm room. Like, I go forth, inspire, knock yourself out. I'm going to show up. I might even pull up and get a plate at the thing. What y'all got? You had a plate? It's,
this
Indigenous Peoples Day, what we got cooking. I mean, so you don't have to deal with that. I am trying to prepare you to graduate, walk across that stage, and not even walk across the stage. I'm saying we have students now. They changed the law last year. They were at the Capitol last year. They were on the front page of the paper last year.
Right. So we're leading the charge.
Absolutely. Yeah, but they're not distracted by the NASDAQ field of today somebody said, tomorrow is this, and today is this, and don't bother yourself with that. Stay focused on what is change look like in the work for real, not practicing war with your teacher or your administrator, the dean of students, or the this or that, and So I don't know if that helps any.
It does, actually. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about funding, because when President Trump talks about focused increasing funding to HBCUs, have you seen anything? Have you benefited at all from his administration?
So recently we did receive an increase in our federal funding, in our Title III funding.
Okay.
Which is another funding source that we receive that's specifically for HBCUs. HBCUs received that tranche of money last year.
Okay.
Our portion of that increase that was just above and beyond our normal allocation was about a little bit over $1 million.
Okay. $1 million is a lot of money. However, the Moody Foundation recently gave HT $150 million, which is the largest single donation I think ever made to an HBCU. And to me, for lack of a better way to say this, that's walking around money. That's money that, like, if you're going to give money to,
come on, Nikki.
If you're going to give money to like an organization to really, really put forth change, this is how you show up. And how does a gift that big change things at HT. What does that look like in practice? Where do we go with that?
So just to give context, I'm just here for no administration has given an institution $150 million. We know
No.
that that's not. And do I foresee? Yes, I pray God that the administration and administration, this one, that one, the next one, the future ones, will see will be able to say, we see the value in these institutions and in these organizations. And here's 150 for everybody, right? And all go forth and do your thing, and let's try to address the inequities. That would be phenomenal. I'm excited about any gift that comes to the institution, because when people give, do they have to give it to you? And so I don't look down upon, I'm grateful to everybody, whatever color, background, that finds value in giving to our institutions. I am grateful, right? Because my job is to lead this institution. It is not to present my personal feelings or values or what I see, how I want to live in a world. It is to advocate for Houston-Tillotson University, okay? So the Moody gift is tremendous. You are absolutely right. $150 million is transformational. It is transformational. What we can do with that money, one is the master plan. That's what, that's where we're starting, is with our campus master plan. We can't continue to look like what we've been through.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta, we're going to have to, we got to sweep around. The most beautiful campus in the city right here. Historic buildings. And when you say a historic building, that's just code for old. Right?
It's just code for old.
It's like, it's a historic building, darling. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay.
Old.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, renovated. We need to renovate.
Yes. Yes. So we're going to renovate. We're going to expand. We're going to start with expansion and then, move into renovations. This calls for new student apartments for our students.
Nice. Okay, yes.
Yes. And workforce apartments. I want Nikki to want to move to East Austin. I don't know where you live, Nikki. But
I live in East Austin, but yeah.
I want you to come over and move into a beautiful condo on, on right here in the back of campus, and have a gorgeous condo or something that is just quaint. You can be in community and it'd be really cool. So that's what it calls for. That it also calls for a new arena that will allow for events and activities and for us to have commencement back on campus. It used to be outside. Outside in 100-degree. I mean, people where you had to have 9 ambulance standing on, ready to.
Waiting for the pass out.
Correct. Just we on deck, ready to run. We couldn't do that in a healthy, to continue to navigate that in a safe environment. So when I got here, I said, it's unsafe. As much as we want to be on campus and students enjoy it, the students said, ma'am, can we go into the air? And I'm like, absolutely. So we have, we have commencement at Shoreline Church, which is away from campus.
Oh,
and
that's far. Everybody, Shoreline Church is off Mopac. It's
exactly. But it seats 5,000.
Yeah, it's huge.
And you can barely find a seat in Shoreline on graduation day because, Madea and TT and
everybody.
Uncle. And yes, we could have had it somewhere close and somewhere else, but then we would have had to limit the experience.
Yeah.
And we're graduating families. When somebody walked that stage, they got 25 people coming with them. And in this world, I mean, the family is way different. I mean, you got mom, you got a stepmom, you got the other grandmother.
Families are big. Yeah.
Yeah. So this arena will call for about 5,000 to 6,000 seats in that arena, and imagine concerts and all of that we could, host. new administrative classroom space, new student union, retail space for community members.
Yeah. So the expansion you're talking about.
We need a nail shop. We need a beauty shop. You need a barber shop. You need
Yeah.
a dry cleaner. You want food and retail. We need our jazz orchestra, place to play in the evenings. Imagine, Nikki, you with your girls and y'all come and have appetizers and listen to the iconic Houston Tillotson Jazz Orchestra in the evenings.
And they are killing it. Just as a side note. As a side note.
Have killed and
have
still
killed
kill it.
it.
Yeah.
One of the best in the nation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what it calls for, the master plan, as well as student scholarships. We're launching a student scholarship program that helps reduce student debt. Our goal is to eventually get students 2 years free. My goal is to ensure that students graduate as close to debt-free as possible.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing with the Moody Money and raising money with the Moody Money.
Across the U.S., college enrollment has declined since it peaked in 2010, and it's projected to continue to decrease. HT is doing such big things, right? How is your enrollment at HT?
So, what's exciting, our enrollment is up. Praise the Lord. HBCUs experienced a significant surge in 2022, which was sort of the last data that we had from that. Probably like a 20% increase in students going to HBCUs. And what do we attribute that to? Laws changing, students feeling safe, and not just Black students. These are just people deciding that, hey, I want to be in space and community, right? We are seeing that same trend. We don't have space on campus.
Right.
So we have to turn students away. We just don't have the space. And so we were in a dorm from St. Edwards. Before this time with you, I'm in a meeting with my VP for Student Affairs. Like, I need you to find another space. We have to find more space because we're at the point where we just can't accommodate the demand. We just can't accommodate, students.
It's a good problem to have.
It is. But what happens is, because so I came from another university that was in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, still the capital city. Austin's the capital city, Baton Rouge is capital city. Well, a student on a waiting list for housing in Baton Rouge is a lot different from a student on a waiting list for housing in Austin.
Yep.
You're going to pay $2,000 a day for a box. And can a parent afford, even an upper middle class parent saying, okay, I got my mortgage, I got a car note, I still got another kid in high school or another kid in college, and I got stuff, and you want me to pay $1,800 for a collegiate experiment? No, it's a hard decision for a family to make financially.
Right. Yeah.
When you can say, hey, live on campus or be in this, ecosystem of, dorm life or student apartment life. Yeah.
What do you see for the future of college and universities in Austin? Because I think that the big conversation here is that not everybody agrees, but I think when you're a public university and you're funded through the government, sometimes there are strings. There are strings that
sometimes I want to just, there are strings. It's not sometimes. I come from public higher ed. There are strings attached.
There are strings attached. And I think that if we're seeing a decline of college enrollment elsewhere, but at HBCUs, we're seeing an increase by 20%, it seems to me that the writing is on the wall. So what do you see as far as the future of college and universities in Austin? What are you seeing for our city?
So I come from public HBCU higher ed. There were always strings attached. Right now in the state of Louisiana, the governor decided that he would pick the board chair for the state boards. He was already picking the board members.
Wow.
Now he said, I want to pick the chair of the board. That used to be regulated to the board members where you say, okay, I think, Susan's a great board member. Everybody in favor? Aye. Now he's like, no, I'm going to pick the chair and the people. So I'm saying that that's not going to change. And even if your best friend is governor, if your cousin is governor, You get to make the decision. So whoever it's called house rules. I don't know if you've ever played
Yes,
Uno or
yes,
dominoes
spades,
or
house rules. Yes.
spades. So I own
House
the house,
rules.
I own the rules. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you own the house, you own the rules. And to me, rightfully so. Hey, you in charge. That's your entity. We have put you in charge.
Right. Right.
We put you in
We put you
charge.
in charge. Yes.
You in charge. And here are all the things that, because I'm in charge of HT. So if I'm in charge of HT, you might see something you like. People are going to see something they don't like, but I'm in charge. Public higher education will always be subject to who is in charge,
Wow. Yeah.
whether you like them or you don't. Okay. So for me at Houston Tillotson University, people may feel an alignment with morality, with how we're going to present our students into the workforce, with the things we're going to do in the community, with rigorous academic programs, but that's a reflection of who's in charge. Babies, friends, countrymen, Romans, lend me your ear. Okay, that is a reflection of who's in charge. And so it will be hard to tell, but I will say this, it will change. And if you change leadership, so I gotta give an example of Louisiana, because that's where I spent 15 years. And so Louisiana has swung from Democratic governor for a good 8 years, and now Republican governor for a good, probably gonna be another 8, probably would
Right.
be another 8 year. And so for a higher ed institution, you feel like you in the yo-yo room. You like ping, pong, ping,
Right.
pong. So I just caution the world into being distracted by things that change, because it will, whether you are if it's whether somebody you like or somebody you don't like.
Always changing.
It's always changing. And so what I encourage people to do is to brace yourself for change, because it will always be even the stuff you like you still have to implement that change in your world.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I will say the silver lining is that there will always be a Houston Tillotson University where people, the soul of who we are, the morality of who we are has not. And I can about bet, I'm the 7th president. I'm going to always leave something for 8 to do.
There's always something to do.
8 will have plenty of work to do. And I believe that 8 and 9 and 10 will still have the heart of this community and that won't change.
Yeah.
Right. And people won't feel that change. The fabric has changed. People won't feel the quality has changed.
Right. It'll be the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you will always feel as if this
That's
is
legacy.
a place in space. Yeah. I encourage people to send their kids to HBCUs, especially Houston Tillotson University. It is such a sacred time in your life where you're vulnerable, you're figuring it out, you're messing up, you're supposed to mess up, you need to have blue hair, you need to, you should.
You have to do all the things. You got to do all the things.
You need to, have a bad breakup. You need to, not recover from that you need to have a bad semester. You need to, do all of those things in a safe space where it doesn't, where you don't lose, where you know that the stakes are, where there are people around you who are genuinely there to support you. Here at this institution, we start a lot of our meetings, especially our faculty staff institute, with me asking a question. And that question is Kasirian and Gara. Kasirian and Gara means, how are the children? And that's from the Maasai tribe. And my board chair, Dr. Vanessa Monroe, started this. She gave me this charge during my investiture ceremony. She said, I hope she will always ask the question, Kasirian and Gara. And That to me is so important because in the Maasai tribe, they don't greet each other by saying hello and good morning and how are you doing and what's up, because they believe that that a community, the health, the how a community is doing, the definition of that is seen by the children.
You're only as good as how your kids are. Yeah.
How are the children? How
I
is the
love that.
community? Yeah. And so for us, we're really focused on how Kasiri and Ngara, how are the children? Because that's how well you'll know that Houston-Tillotson University is doing.
Dr. Wallace, thank you so much for this. This has been a pleasure.
Nikki, God bless you. We love you at Houston-Tillotson University. If you need us, we are here for you.
Thank you so much. That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find links to HT in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and as always, subscribe to our CityCast Austin newsletter. And if you really love us and you love what we do, support us by becoming a neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.